imagine spending like $100,000 on this beautifully shot cinematic, I mean, just an absolute masterpiece of a commercial.
Right, the kind with the perfect lighting, a full crew.
Exactly. And you launch it into the digital world, you're waiting for the applause, and the algorithm just kills it in 0.3 seconds.
Oh, brutal. Just dead on arrival.
Yeah, because nobody wants to watch it. Meanwhile, you've got a teenager with a shaky smartphone, terrible lighting, and a trending audio track who casually racks up, 5 million views before lunch.
It's wild. Marketing hasn't just changed. The old rules have been entirely inverted.
Completely upside down. Welcome to the Deep Dive, everyone. Today is Friday, May 22, 2026.
Glad to be here.
And whether you are maybe a startup founder trying to figure out how to get your first 100 loyal customers, or a marketing executive steering a massive corporate budget, or just someone fiercely curious about why your feed looks the way it does, this deep dive is going to clarify a lot of the madness.
Oh, absolutely. There is a lot of madness to clarify.
There really is. We are looking at a comprehensive 2026 briefing document today. It's titled Social First Content Creation by Professional Teams, The Future of Digital Brand Growth. And we've also got some highly detailed supplementary SEO and social strategy notes to go with it.
And the central thesis across all this material is a fundamental shift in how digital brand growth actually happens today.
Right.
We're moving away from treating social media as just, a distribution channel, like a place to dump assets you already created.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Recognizing it as the primary environment where marketing is actually born.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's unpack this term the briefing uses relentlessly. Social first content.
It's a buzzword, but a really important one.
Right. The document defines it as the process of designing content specifically for social media platforms before even considering any other marketing channels.
No television, no print, no billboards.
None of that. For decades, a brand would shoot a massive high-budget TV spot, and the social media manager would literally be handed the leftover scraps.
Here's a badly cropped video file. Good luck.
Yeah, they'd get outtakes and be told to figure it out. Social was totally an afterthought.
Which is, that's a guaranteed strategy for irrelevance today. Adapting traditional broadcast-style marketing for a modern social feed is fundamentally flawed.
It's like trying to drive a customized sports car in a built race.
Oh, that's a perfect analogy.
Right, it's just the wrong vehicle for the environment.
Exactly. The vehicle is incompatible with the physics of the environment. And to understand why that environment is so unforgiving, the source material points to a staggering metric. Over 80% of all social media traffic now comes from mobile devices.
Wow, 80%. That completely dictates the physical reality of how content is consumed.
It really does.
We aren't talking about a captive audience sitting on a couch, staring at a massive TV screen. We're talking about someone holding a piece of glass in one hand, aggressively scrolling with their thumb while waiting in a checkout line.
Yeah, the friction of the swipe is practically zero. Because the user is in total control of the pacing, your content has to instantly justify its existence.
Right, there's no patience.
None. Social-first creators understand this. They design vertical video from day one because, forcing a user to physically rotate their phone introduces friction.
And friction equals abandonment.
Exactly. They build optimized thumbnails, they front-load their most compelling hook into the first half second. Everything is engineered for immediate engagement because that thumb is always hovering, just ready to move on.
Which brings us to the actual mechanics of what gets seen. If the mobile phone is the physical environment, the algorithms are the physics engine governing that environment, right?
That's a great way to put it.
And the briefing details how algorithms are explicitly designed to reward native content. But we need to look at how that actually works under the hood. Algorithms don't have taste.
No, not at all.
They don't know if a video is objectively good or bad. They only measure retention.
Right, an algorithm's primary objective is session length. It just wants to keep you on the app so it can serve you more ads. So when a brand creates content that feels native, using the language, the pacing, the editing style native to that specific app users don't immediately trigger their internal ad blocker.
Right, they don't feel like they're being sold to.
Exactly, so they stay and watch. The algorithm registers that higher watch time and completion rate, and it fuels your content with more reach.
The sources mention tactics like trending audio usage and hook-based storytelling to signal to the algorithm that the content belongs. But wait, hold on, let me push back on a major claim here.
Sure, go for it.
The briefing insists that identical reposting is dead. But I see massive creators and brands cross-posting the exact same short-form video on TikTok, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts all the time.
Yep.
And some sorts they do huge numbers across the board. So does a brand really need to reinvent the wheel for every single app they're on? Isn't that exhausting?
It is exhausting, but there's a critical nuance there. The video file itself might be identical in some cases, but the contextual wrapping is completely different.
Ah, okay. The wrapping.
Yeah, a savvy creator might use the same core video, but on TikTok, they're pairing it with a hyper-specific trending audio track and maybe a self-deprecating caption.
Right, very casual.
But then on Instagram, they might use a more aesthetic, polished cover image and a longer, value-driven caption.
Makes sense.
And on YouTube Shorts, the title acts like search engine optimization, capturing high-intent search traffic. So while the raw asset might overlap, the dialect changes.
Let's actually dig into those dialects, because understanding the psychology of why a user opens a specific app is crucial. The digital landscape in 2026 isn't a monolith.
Not at all. If we look at Instagram, the native culture is still heavily rooted in aspirational identity and aesthetics.
Right, making things look good.
Yeah, even as it has embraced raw video, the successful formats like Reels, deep dive carousels, stories, they're generally about lifestyle, status, visual appeal. The user is in a mindset of curation and discovery.
But then you swipe over to TikTok, and the psychological mode completely shifts.
Oh, 100%.
The UX design is full screen, immersive, and just high chaos. TikTok actively demands fast-paced editing and an almost unvarnished relatability.
Yes.
If a video feels too polished, or too corporate, or too perfectly lit, the TikTok audience will swipe past it almost as a reflex. The algorithm maps to hyper-niche interests, not social graphs.
Exactly. And then look at LinkedIn, which has undergone this massive transformation.
Yeah, it's completely different now.
The native language there is professional branding and educational thought leadership. You aren't doing a lip sync trend on LinkedIn. You are breaking down industry insights or sharing a vulnerable lesson about leadership.
Right, the psychology is anchored in networking and career advancement.
Totally. And finally, YouTube. The psychology there is search-driven and deeply parasocial. A user opens YouTube preparing to invest 10, 20, or 40 minutes.
They're settling in.
Yeah, they're making a conscious choice to stick around, which is why it heavily rewards deep storytelling, behind-the-scenes access, and comprehensive tutorials.
But building 4 or 5 different dialects of content introduces a massive bottleneck, right? Manpower.
Oh, absolutely.
One social media manager armed with a ring light and an iPhone cannot feed these different algorithmic beasts at scale. They just can't maintain the output volume or the nuanced quality required for each distinct platform.
No, and that is the core operational pivot the briefing highlights. Meeting the demands of 2026 algorithms requires building an infrastructure that looks much more like a modern media publisher than a traditional marketing department.
Right, like a newsroom.
Exactly. The roster of a professional social-first team is extensive. We're talking about content strategists analyzing audience data, videographers and photographers capturing premium raw material.
Plus specialized video editors who actually understand short-form retention tactics.
Yep, and graphic designers and copywriters optimizing for search intent. It is a highly coordinated, scalable content system.
So the strategist might feed audience retention data to the team, noting that, I don't know, videos with fast movement in the first second hold 20% more viewers.
Right, and then the videographer shoots with that exact constraint in mind. The editor cuts it to match the pacing of current trends. They are generating massive monthly content batches and evergreen assets that can be deployed strategically.
But human infrastructure is only half the equation in 2026. The source material highlights the massive integration of AI-assisted creation.
Yeah, this is huge.
But it's not the dystopian AI makes everything scenario some people feared. Here's where it gets really interesting. I like to compare AI to a highly efficient sous chef.
Oh, I like that.
Right, AI is doing all the tedious chopping and prep work in the back of the kitchen, while the human creators remain the executive chefs making the actual flavor decisions.
The workflow integration is fascinating when you look at it that way. AI is actively doing the heavy lifting of the production line. Tools are analyzing millions of data points to predict behavioral trends.
Right.
AI is generating 50 variations of a hook, so the copywriter can just select the best 3. It's automatically trimming dead air from video files and generating optimized thumbnails based on historical click-through rates.
But the briefing draws a very hard line here. It explicitly states that while AI creates unprecedented efficiency, human creativity remains absolutely essential for authentic storytelling.
It's non-negotiable.
Yeah. AI can ingest data and tell you that a certain pacing works, or edit a video to the beat of a trending song. But an AI doesn't have contextual empathy.
Right.
It doesn't know which specific micro-expression on a founder's face during an interview is going to make the target audience feel a profound sense of trust.
No, exactly. The human element is the arbiter of taste and resonance. And this intersection of highly coordinated professional teams, advanced AI tools, and the demand for human resonance brings us to what I consider the most important insight in the entire briefing:
You too.
the authenticity paradox. What's fascinating here is that brands are hiring these massive coordinated teams to create content that feels totally informal.
Let's really linger on this because it is the ultimate psychological tension of modern marketing. We have brands investing massive budgets, utilizing multidisciplinary teams and predictive AI models, all strategically engineering content to look completely informal, raw, and authentic.
Yeah.
You essentially have an 8-person team producing a video to make it look like the CEO just casually picked up their phone in the hallway to chat with the internet.
It's a profound contradiction, but we have to look at why consumers demand this illusion. Modern consumers, particularly younger demographics, have hyper-attuned ad blockers built into their brains.
Totally.
They grew up in an era saturated with highly polished broadcast advertising. They fundamentally distrust the billboard.
Right.
They want community-driven content. They want the messy behind-the-scenes processes, the unscripted team moments, the mistakes.
The audience knows on some level that it's a marketing play, but they accept the illusion as long as the brand plays the authenticity game well because it provides a parasocial connection.
Exactly.
A perfect real-world application of this from the source material is a company called Weddizer. They operate in the wedding and bridal industry, which is arguably one of the highest stakes, highest emotion markets in existence.
Oh, trust is the absolute currency in the bridal industry. A couple isn't going to hand over tens of thousands of dollars for the most important day of their lives based on a generic corporate drone shot of a venue.
Right, no way.
They need to feel an intimate connection to the vendors.
So Weddizer supports these wedding brands by deploying this exact social-first engineered authenticity strategy. Instead of just a slow-motion, overly color-graded video of a cake, Weddizer will capture the chaotic, frantic, sweaty setup behind the scenes.
The catering team rushing to perfect that cake.
Exactly. Set to an upbeat, trending audio track. They're blending high-end cinematic capability with raw, relatable storytelling. It breaks the fourth wall.
And by breaking that fourth wall, they build genuine trust. The briefing notes that this community-driven approach helps these bridal brands cut through crowded feeds, forge emotional connections, and crucially, drive actual measurable bookings.
Which perfectly sets up the ROI discussion. So what does this all mean for the bottom line? How is a business actually measuring success here? Because building this infrastructure, hiring strategists, videographers, editors, licensing AI tools, it requires serious capital.
It does.
If we are chasing community and parasocial connection, vanity metrics like simple likes or follower counts must be practically useless for measuring a return on investment.
They really are. Vanity metrics are entirely secondary now. The professional playbook relies on deep intent metrics.
Like what?
Reach, watch time, saves, and shares. And we need to look at why the algorithms weigh these actions so heavily. Take a save on Instagram or TikTok. When a user saves a piece of content, they are essentially turning the app into a personal bookmarking tool.
Right.
That action guarantees the algorithm that the user will open the app again later to reference that video.
It's a massive signal of utility.
Exactly. And a share is even more powerful. When someone shares your video, they're copying a deep link and sending it to a friend via iMessage or WhatsApp.
That action literally pulls a dormant user outside the app back into the ecosystem.
Exactly. To an algorithm whose only goal is growth and retention, that share is worth 1,000 passive likes.
So when a professional team optimizes for these specific algorithmic triggers, creating high-utility content people want to save or highly relatable content people want to share, the downstream effects compound.
Yep.
It leads to massively increased organic reach, which drives down customer acquisition costs. And when you put paid ad spend behind content that already has proven organic resonance, your sales conversions skyrocket because the trust is already established.
What the source material issues a massive warning here regarding how you sustain that momentum. The golden rule is consistency over virality.
Oh, this is so important.
Far too many brands still operate with a lottery ticket mentality. They think if they just engineer one perfect viral video, their business is set.
But the problem with a viral spike is the inevitable cliff right after it.
Mhm.
Imagine a user sees your video hit 5 million views. They love it, they click through to your profile, and they see you haven't posted anything else in a month.
Or your previous 10 videos are entirely different and low quality.
Right, they will bounce immediately. The virality is just wasted.
It's mathematically detrimental.
Mm.
Algorithms thrive on pattern recognition. If you post sporadically, the algorithm can't build a reliable audience graph for your content, so it just stops trying.
Wow.
The audience and the machine both reward reliability. Maintaining a regular publishing cadence of high-quality, platform-native content is the only way to build a compounding digital asset. It is a marathon that requires the systems and workflows we've been talking about.
So when we pull all these threads together, the 2026 briefing, the AI workflows, the death of the repurposed commercial, the core takeaway for you, the listener, is unambiguous.
Yeah, it's very clear.
In the modern digital landscape, investing in social-first content is no longer an experimental marketing tactic. It is the baseline requirement for survival and growth.
The audiences are simply too savvy, and the algorithms are far too sophisticated to tolerate anything less than native storytelling. The era of the digital billboard is permanently closed.
So whether you are an individual trying to build your own personal brand on LinkedIn or strategizing for a major corporation overhauling your entire Q3 marketing push, you have to prioritize the physical and psychological realities of the mobile feed.
You really do.
You have to learn the dialects of the specific platforms, embrace the messy behind-the-scenes authenticity, and use the AI tools to scale your output without losing your human resonance.
It's a complete paradigm shift in how we communicate value. But as we close this out, there's a broader, more philosophical thread hidden inside this data that demands attention.
I know exactly where you're going with this.
We dissected the authenticity paradox, the reality that we're using predictive AI, specialized media teams, and millions of data points to perfectly engineer moments that feel intimate, spontaneous, and entirely unscripted.
The ultimate highly produced realness.
Right. So the provocation for all of us, not just as marketers or creators, but as consumers navigating this internet, is this. How will our very definition of authenticity evolve?
That's the big question.
When the mathematically engineered moments feel more emotionally resonant, more intimate, and more relatable than actual unedited reality, what happens to our baseline for trust? If the simulation of a community provides us with real comfort and connection, does it even matter that the spontaneity was scheduled on a content calendar 3 weeks ago?
Wow. That is a staggering thought to end on. When the house party is perfectly curated to make us feel at home, maybe we stop caring if the host is following a script. It's a fascinating lens to look through the next time you find yourself deeply relating to a brand's video while waiting in line for coffee.
Definitely something to chew on.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We've covered the mechanics of the algorithms, the psychology of the platforms, and the anatomy of the modern creative team. Hopefully, you're walking away with a sharper toolkit for navigating the chaos of the modern feed. Keep questioning the mechanics of what you consume, keep pushing for deeper resonance in what you create, and whatever you do, stop trying to drive a sports car in a boat race. We'll catch you on the next one.